All right, Pastor Hovind, it's May the 15th, Friday morning. If I go to my countdown timer, we've got 2 days, 23 hours, and 17 minutes until May the 18th at 8 o'clock in the morning. And our first question comes in from Ali Naziri. And Ali writes, "Hey Kent, hi again. Thank you for answering my previous questions. I have 3 questions this time. Well, here you go. Question number 1. In the book of John, they asked him in chapter 1, verse 21, and they asked him, 'What then? Art thou Elias?' And he said, 'I am not.' And he said, 'Art thou a prophet?' And he answered, 'No.' Then who was Elias and who was the prophet? If the prophet is Jesus, then why is the verse before, did they ask John if he was Christ? If Jesus was Christ, then who was the prophet?" Please respond to this. Thank you, Pastor Hovind.
I don't know the answer, short answer. I have some ideas on that. That there's people who specialize in that kind of stuff could give you a better answer. But Moses said, I think it's near the end of Deuteronomy, he said, in the latter days, God's going to send you a prophet like unto me. And so I think he's referring to, the Jews were all looking for, who is this guy that's coming that's like Moses that's going to lead us out of slavery? Because Moses led them out of Egypt. They were in slavery, and they were when John the Baptist was speaking there, and they're talking to him, they were in slavery to the Romans. So the Jews were very much looking for the prophet who is going to lead them out of slavery. So when they say that prophet, I feel pretty certain they're referring to the prophecy that Moses had said. I'm going to just take a guess. It's in the last 5-10 chapters of Deuteronomy. But somebody, you can look up the phrase, maybe you can do it on if you have a concordance, like unto me. With that phrase, you ought to be able to find where that reference is, but it was Moses speaking. So I think Jesus said, there's none greater than John the Baptist, born of women. So certainly John the Baptist was a prophet. He might not even have known that. Many people are prophets and are used of God in great ways, and they don't even know it during their lifetime that God is using them. Other people may know it and recognize it. But I think it's Proverbs 27. Let another man praise thee and not thine own lips. You know, it's not good to search out your own glory, it says in Proverbs. Let other people say, wow, you're smart, or wow, you're good. You don't want to do that yourself. A, you may be wrong, and B, it sounds egotistical and prideful. So let other people do that. So I don't know if John the Baptist even knew he was a prophet or a man of God. He just went and preached and did what God told him to do. And that's something for history to judge. You know, did Abe Lincoln know or think he was a great president? Probably not. He wrestled with it. He probably thought he was a failure. So, but history will say, well, yeah, he did amazing things. So I suspect that's the prophecy about Moses saying there's going to be a prophet, because the Jews have been looking for somebody to lead them out of slavery from the Romans. As far as who actually was that prophet, probably referring to Jesus, and John the Baptist knew he wasn't that one. So I don't have a positive. Maybe that's just a few clues to throw into the mix to help you find the answer. Sorry, Ali, you don't have a complete answer.
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
Well, I'm 0 for 1, brother.
All right. Well, we'll see if we can't get off started to see how the next question fares. Pastor Hovind, the next question comes in from Michelle, and Michelle writes, Pastor Hovind, have you ever heard about the Fibonacci sequence? Some people say it is the fingerprint of God. That study led me to you. I watched all your debates and am almost through your seminars. I just ordered the seminars and plan to copy and start passing them out. You saved me last September the 4th. I pray for your release every day. You've changed my life in so many ways. You are an awesome teacher. God bless you and your family, Michelle.
Well, thank you, Michelle. I appreciate your prayers and in your question, and I sure hope God ends this. This is enough. I hope they don't even go to trial. They could call today and say, we decided to cancel this. It's dumb. I mean, for what is the charge here? You mailed a letter? Is that the charge? Okay, just drop this. They're looking stupid, I think. Okay, as far as Fibonacci sequence, absolutely. I love studying that. Fibonacci was a great mathematician, if they had such a thing, dedicated to, I don't know if anybody dedicated to such a select topic back in those days. You probably had to be a jack of all trades, but about the 1100s, if I recall, Fibonacci discovered discovered an interesting sequence. If you take the numbers 0 and then 1, and you add them together, you get 1. And then you take 1 plus 1, and you get 2. And then 1 plus 2 is 3, and 2 plus 3 is 5. And every number you write down is the sum of the two numbers right immediately before it. So you get 5, and then 8, and then 13, and it goes on up that way, 21, 34, 55. Every number is the sum of the two numbers immediately before it. You say, okay, big deal. Well, Fibonacci then took the larger number divided by the smaller number, like 55 divided by 34. And it came out to be 1.618. At the early part of the sequence, it doesn't work out, but the further you go, the more exact it becomes. It becomes 1.618. And people say, okay, who cares? Well, that's called the Fibonacci number, or the golden mean ratio. You can just type it in Google, that word Fibonacci, and you will get thousands of hits, I would predict. I haven't seen a computer in a while. But it is amazing that all this 1 to 1.618 ratio is found all over nature. For instance, the length of your hand, whatever that is, take that times 1.618, and that will be the length of your forearm from your wrist to your elbow. If you take the distance between your eyeballs, the pupils, whatever that number is, take that times 1.618, and that will be the distance between that line between your eyes and your chin. It is found in thousands and thousands of places in nature. It is an amazing number, the Fibonacci number. If you take the smaller number divided by the larger number, it gets 0.618 instead of 1.618. Well, if you look at the way leaves grow on a plant growing up, like take a flower as it grows up, the leaves grow out of the stem to get sunlight. Well, if you had one leaf grow right under the other one, the top one would block the sunlight, and so the bottom one wouldn't get any light. It'd be a waste of energy for the plant to produce a leaf in a place where it's not going to get any sun. So the plant knows, I hate to use the word knows.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Something in the plant makes the leaves grow at a spiral. I think they call it phyllotaxis. It's been too long since I've seen that. But anyway, wherever the first leaf is, you spin around the stem, 0.618, and there'll be the second leaf. And so if you look at the plant from the top, it is indeed doing a spiral with the leaves. It's found in the stock market, the Fibonacci sequence. You just search the internet. There is it's the golden mean, the curl of a seahorse tail, the curl of a snail shell. It is mind-boggling. You have stumbled onto an amazing study there. Okay, let me call back, Rudy.
All right, Pastor Hovind, we'll look forward to it. All right, that's Pastor Hovind. We'll look forward to his next call. This is Friday. We could be, coming down to the end of these pretty soon, depending on what happens next week. Thank you guys for sending in your question. Every one of you guys that sent in questions are a huge blessing.